I have finally completed the second of the two books that I chose to read for the National Latin American Heritage Month. I'm talking about Silvia Moreno Garcia's The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, and I enjoyed this one. The first was The Inheritance of Orchidea Divina, and this is the second. So with this done, I do have a few thoughts, so I'm coming away with a few lessons if you stick around to find out. In the daughter of Dr. Moreau, we see Silvia Moreno exploring a classic tale, as you remember, the Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. This is her own take on it, and of course it's infused with the with Mexican culture, with Mexican elements, and with a different twist, with even a grittier and more philosophical exploration. The daughter of Dr. Moreau follows the story of Carlota and the daughter of Dr. Moreau himself. She is, born on this island and is a willing assistant to her father's experimentations on cross DNA, cross human animal DNA experimentations, and the objectives that for her father's experimentations are not known to her early on until a few events unfold that cause these secrets to come out. Dr. Moreau has a sponsor, Mr. Lizade, and he is responsible for the financing of the island. We might say everything that happens on the island, everything that Dr. Moreau has, including the house he lives in and the food he eats. He funds everything. He funds Dr. Moreau's lifestyle, and this explains why Dr. Moreau owes him a lot. Now, when Mr. Lizade comes to the island with his son, he doesn't anticipate that his son would fall for Carlota, and neither does Carlota, but everything is new to her. Her whole world is the island itself. She's never been out of the island, She has only explored the world through the stories that she reads in books, and she is well educated. Dr. Moreau homeschooled Carlota, and she is well versed. In fact, she can translate, I think she knows Latin. She can translate Latin, really complex languages, because she is studious. Other characters that you would meet in this story include Ramona, the help, and we would also be introduced to the hybrids. We have Lupe and Cachito. The catalyst for detention that you will experience in the middle of the story include Montgomery, the new foreman on the island, and Eduardo Lizade. Yes, that's Mr. Lizade's son. Now, Carlota falls for Eduardo, they fall in love, but their worlds begin to drift apart when their intentions for the island begin to unravel. So Eduardo has his own objectives, has his own plans, has his own visions of what to do with the island after it's been handed over to him upon their marriage. Carlota herself has other plans too, but their visions don't exactly align, and there starts the conflict that really stirs and progresses the story in this book. And of course, we have a love triangle between Montgomery, Carlota, Dr. Moreau's daughter, and Eduardo, and this doesn't end well. This doesn't end well. You may have to read the story to find out how it unravels, but it's safe to say that when you have a love triangle, you always want to know how the balance, or the pendulum swings. This is really a good book. I would say if you're looking for a fast-paced action, science fiction, this may not be the book for you. However, if you're interested in morally complex characters, this is your your bit. Silvia Moreno writes this story in vivid prose. Some sections are maybe too vivid enough to paint an eerie picture of an eerie picture of what it means to be humane or not humane. This story touches on the themes of humanity, of race, of castes, discrimination, civilization, or colonization rather. And I love this because it actually tasks you. So if you're looking for something that is really intellectually stimulating, I would say this is a book for you. And for one that is actually being touted as a speculative fiction, I would say maybe even speculative romance as well, in that we have the very compelling or very strong element of a love triangle in the mix. I think Silvia Moreno actually juggles all these balls very well, and it shines through or shows through. We have Carlota, we have Montgomery, whose stories are are examples of very rich character development that Silvia actually pulls off in this book. I enjoyed Silvia Moreno's take on the Island of Doctor Moreau, and I might add that she was quite intentional in the way that she told this story. In another section of the book where we take some of her views on the not translation but the application of the Mayan and Mexican elements in the story. So in all, I would truly recommend The Daughter of Dr. Moreau if you're looking to make a foray into Latin American literature. I would also want to add that Silvia Moreno was really deliberate about the Mexican cultural elements that she infused in this story. As a part of the book, depending on the edition that you have, in an afterword, where Silvia mentions that she did some consultation, she did get some help in terms of spellings, getting paying homage to the legacy of the Mayan people, by getting the spelling and the language right when drafting this story. And you also get a good feel of that element through the retold stories, the background stories, told by the characters in the book about the source of cultural conflicts, the political conflicts that were experienced. And I would be remiss not to mention that this story was set in the 1800s, even maybe a little earlier, when the Yucatan people were facing conflicts, internal conflicts. The legacy or the legality of certain republics, the Mexican, the American, the European, I'm not one for politics, but I know there were treaties that were signed in that period. This is historical facts. But it emerged, at the heart of these conflicts, we had the issue of caste systems. We had the issue of racism and colonization, as all the things that the Europeans and the Americans got a bad rap for in that time. So kudos to Silvia for juggling all these balls in balancing historical facts with fantastic rationale, or even balancing the system which she built into the story that she told here. And I would again recommend this book gets 4.5 stars out of 5 for me. And if you haven't read it, try and get a copy. And so, if you've read this, I would really be interested in hearing your thoughts on the book. Please leave a comment below. And if you are really interested in more book reviews and recommendations, I recommend that you subscribe, you like, and you share. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy reading.